On behalf of the Law Institute of Victoria, I welcome you all here today to the Law Institute of Victoria's Reconciliation Action Plan. The Attorney-General, Robert Clark, and the Secretary-General of the Law Council of Australia, Dr. Sally Walker, have sent their apologies due to other commitments. Unfortunately, they were unable to attend here today. This day has been a long time in coming, and I am very honoured to be the Law Institute of Victoria President charged with the privilege of launching the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Reconciliation Action Plan. The Reconciliation Action Plan is one of the Law Institute's major initiatives for 2012. We intend the Reconciliation Action Plan to be a living document. We will continue to promote it and review it. We want the legal profession to show leadership in promoting Indigenous causes and addressing Indigenous recognition and opportunity. As lawyers, we support and promote equality before the law and throughout our society. The Law Institute of Victoria has long advocated for Indigenous equality. In 2006, the Law Institute of Victoria developed a policy statement on Indigenous Australians and in the legal profession and the justice system. 2 years ago, then Prime Minister Kevin Rudd delivered a national apology to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Australians, as well as members of the stolen generation. The apology acknowledged past wrongs and committed to bridging the gap between Indigenous Australians and the broader community. The apology was regarded as a fundamental early step in the reconciliation process. In 2010, the Law Institute of Victoria announced its intention to launch a Reconciliation Action Plan. It acknowledged that as Victoria's peak legal body, we have the opportunity to raise consciousness and influence change. We seek to turn good intentions into actions. The announcement that we were intending to launch the RAP received widespread support from the legal profession. A number of our member firms have already developed their own reconciliation action plans, and for those, they should be congratulated. The Law Institute of Victoria has held consultations with Indigenous people in Victoria, including traditional owners, peak bodies, community groups, education bodies and government agencies. And I very warmly welcome those of you who are here today who participated in that process. I acknowledge and reinforce our intention to work together. The Law Institute of Victoria RAP identified distinct reconciliation pathways. These pathways include education to qualification, access to justice, and cultural awareness. In following these pathways, a reconciliation framework was developed. The RAP requires increased and ongoing involvement from the Law Institute of Victoria and the Indigenous people and Indigenous organisations in the RAP activities, our committees and actions. In the first year, the Law Institute of Victoria has committed to achieving actions that work towards meeting 20 objectives set out in the pathways. These include actions relating to law reform, community partnerships and employment. The initiatives that the RAP include are designed to be practical. Many of them are internal to the Law Institute of Victoria, but there are also many initiatives that lawyers and law firms can incorporate into their own activities. We want each member of the legal profession and each law firm to consider what reconciliation action plans they can participate in. The RAP goes beyond consideration of what legal needs might exist in each area. The RAP will ask the profession to consider things such as providing Indigenous clerkships or work experience to Indigenous high school students and law students. The RAP will ask the legal profession to volunteer to speak at local community legal education events and investigate whether they can engage Indigenous businesses as suppliers. We will encourage our members to consider board member positions for local Indigenous organisations that seek legal expertise. We will be attending cultural awareness training which will be developed through the Law Institute of Victoria's Continuing Professional Development Program. We'll be promoting the briefing of Victorians Indigenous barristers and committing to the LIV Victorian Bar Indigenous Barristers Equal Opportunity Briefing Policy. And there is a directory page on the Vic Bar website, and in the plan that the Reconciliation Action Plan, which is available here, a copy of our policy is included. The ultimate aim of the Reconciliation Action Plan is to see a legal profession that properly represents Aboriginal perspectives in the state. It aims for appropriate representation of Aboriginal people in the ranks of the profession. At the moment, obviously, we do not have that. We do not have that amongst the solicitors, we do not have that amongst the barristers, we do not have that amongst the judiciary. In launching this Reconciliation Action Plan, the Law Institute of Victoria, with a growing number of law firms, have agreed to take a positive step in closing the gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. I believe that lawyers are and must be leaders in the community. We have an obligation to promote human rights and equality before the law, and we are uniquely placed to do this. I would hope that the positive steps contained in the RAP and the positive steps that the Law Institute of Victoria will make will encourage more law firms to launch their own RAPs, and for our RAP to be taken up by firms who may not have the resources to establish their own reconciliation action plans, but who are interested in contributing to the reconciliation process. Attracting the attention of the legal profession, firms or organisations, and encouraging them to act will be a major achievement of the Law Institute of Victoria Reconciliation Action Plan. I'd like to say a few words about the artwork on the cover of the RAP. This is an image of clans and families meeting for ceremony. It's by Eileen Harrison, and the actual painting itself is at the front of the room. The artwork embodies the traditional cultural knowledge of the Kurnai community in the Gippsland region. The footprints represent people making a long communal journey. The travel lines indicate a ceremonial gathering with people coming together and connecting with different cultures. The artwork then is very consistent and very appropriate to the underlying philosophy of our RAP and our meeting here today in celebration of the start of our reconciliation journey. The artwork will be displayed in the reception area as a reminder to all who pass through this place of the Law Institute of Victoria's commitment to reconciliation. I now take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank some of those involved in developing the RAP. An acknowledgement and thanks must go to the co-chairs of the Reconciliation Action Working Group, Barristers Abigail Birchall and Richard Wilson, and former Chair Brendan Louisou. The Law Institute of Victoria Administrative Law and Human Rights Policy Lawyer Laura Helm, who's here today, also was instrumental in driving this project with very fine assistance from paralegal support Julia Stricklet and Fiona White. I thank you very much, and all of the people in the Law Institute of Victoria who contributed towards this project. I thank the people who are involved in the consultations. I thank the people who are involved in the marketing. The document is one I think we can be very proud of. But ultimately, of course, the document is a statement of our intentions that we need to follow through on.